This is Module 2, Lesson 3. We're going to talk about reflections. And remember, all of these are congruence transformations, which means that whenever they go through a transformation, what they create is a figure that is congruent. In other words, exactly like the one that was the pre-image. You start with a pre-image, you wind up with an image. The two will be exactly alike. All side lengths will be the same, all corresponding side lengths will be the same, all corresponding angles will be the same. This standard is AGA 3. We're going to describe the effects of reflections, rotations, and translations on figures on the coordinate plane. Now, on this particular one, we're just going to look at the effects of reflections on images. And this beginning sheet, this is in your packet. This is the first page in your packet. This beginning sheet just simply shows you a reflection. It says reflection. You've often known it as a flip. Sometimes you see it on computers listed as a flip. You see how there's an F in reflection, and there's your F there in flip. So we're talking about reflection here as flips. There's no work for you to do on this particular page. It just tells you that a reflection is a flip. When we're dealing with reflections, we have a line of reflection. In this case, they were talking about using this as a line of reflection. We're only going to do the X and Y axis with what we're doing. Now, this is page 2 in your packet. This is a transformation. It's an operation that maps an original figure. Remember, we talked about map meaning moves. Okay, it maps an original figure called the pre-image onto a new figure called the image. You start with your pre-image, you wind up with your image. Now, a transformation, notice we're just talking transformation, not just congruence transformations. We're talking all transformations now. A transformation can change the size, location, or orientation of a figure. There are 4 types of transformations, not 4 types of congruence transformations, but 4 types of transformations. Reflections, rotations, translations, and dilations. We haven't talked about dilations yet, and we won't until we get to Module 3. Dilations is when we blow up or we reduce the size of a figure. We enlarge or we reduce the size of a figure. Now, let's remember our congruence transformations. Congruence means is equal to. Our congruence transformations are our reflections, rotations, and translations. So let's talk about reflections, which is a congruence transformation. Notice here we've got a reflection. And let's go back up and look real quick at our reflection that we had a while back. We talked about a reflection being where you have a line of reflection. You have an image, and then you have an image of the same thing on the other side of the line of reflection. So let's go back to where we're working on this. Let's see. Page 2 in the packet again. When we have a reflection, we have a line of reflection. That's what we reflect the image over. Think about this, and if you were in the classroom, here's what we would do. You would actually draw a figure on a piece of paper, label it ABC, then fold your paper, that would be your line of reflection, and trace this image so you can see it on the other side of your paper. That would give you a reflection, okay? Notice when we do any sort of transformation, if we start with A, and see this A is going to be the same distance from this line of reflection as its image, A prime. This little tick up here is called prime. The primes go on the image. The pre-images doesn't have primes on theirs, okay? B goes to B prime. See how they're the same distance from this line of reflection? And C is close to the line of reflections, and C prime is the same distance from it as C. They're just on opposite sides of the line of reflection. These tick marks tell us that this is the image. The ones that don't have the tick marks on it says this is our pre-image. This is where we start. This is what we create from it. Now, the line over which anything is reflected is called the line of reflection. I changed the way this is written because I liked it better this way. the line over which something is reflected is called the line of reflection. Each point, see like A, and its image, like A prime, are going to be equal distance from the line of reflection. Now in 8th grade, the two lines we're going to reflect over is our x-axis and our y-axis. And reflections result in congruent figures. You can reflect over other lines except for the x-axis and y-axis, but in this grade, at this point, those are the only ones we're going to deal with. And the reflections will create congruent figures. Look, they're mirror images of each other, hence reflection. Now, we're going to try one of these. I want you to see how to actually create a reflection. All right, let's create a reflection here. First off, let's go right here and let me show you something. And we have these in the classroom. I wish I had it here for you. I just don't. So if we're dealing with a coordinate plane, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. If I'm looking at directions on here, these are going to be my bigger positive numbers. They're going to keep getting bigger and bigger, okay? If you're going this way, it's like a number line. You're going more and more positive this direction, or bigger and bigger. On this side, you're going to have negative numbers on that x-axis. This is the negative direction. If I'm talking the y-axis, if I'm going up here, these numbers are positive and they get bigger. So this is the plus direction on this. If I'm going down, these numbers are getting smaller negatives. So you're getting more negative this way. If I'm plotting a point, the first number is your x and the second number is your y. Okay, now we're going to try one of these over here. The first thing it tells us to do, graph and label each figure and its image under the given reflection. Give the new coordinates. So let's triangle ABC with vertices. Vertices is where a figure bends. A is at 1, 6, B is at 8, 3, and C is at 4, 2. We need to plot those and make the triangle. A is at 1, 6. 1, see, this is your x-axis, here's your y. There's your x value, there's your y. It's always alphabetical. So on the x-axis, we'd start at the origin, which is where the x and y axis intersect. You go over 1 on the x and then up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is where A goes. That's where your A point is. We're creating the pre-image. B is at 8, 3. Here's your x, here's your y. So we start here at 0, 0 at the origin, and we go over x on the 8 on the x-axis. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we go up 3. 1, 2, 3, because it's a positive 3. Here's where my B point is. And then C is at 4, 2. This is your x, that's your y. So we start here at the origin, and we go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go up 2. All right? A, B, and C. Now let me see if I can draw this as a straight line for you. Sometimes I'm not so good at straight lines on these, but we're going to give it a shot. Go from A to C. Here we go. From C to B. And from A to B. There we go. There's our pre-image. See, there's no tick marks on these. This is called the pre-image. What does it tell me to do with this pre-image? Hold on. Get this back so we can see it. It tells me to reflect it in the x-axis. So I need to reflect it over the x-axis. Let's draw a line on that x-axis so we see where it is. See what we're reflecting it over. Here is your x-axis right here. Okay? So we want to reflect this over the x-axis. And we're going to do this one in green so we can see it a little different. Now let's reflect it. The way we reflect it is that we know that this point is going to be the same distance from the line of reflection as its reflected point, as its image. So let's take this pre-image A and count to its line of reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So it's 6 units from the line of reflection. Now let's stay on this line and let's go on the other side 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where our A prime would be, okay? We are making our image. Here's our pre-image, we're making our image. See, A and A prime are on the same line. They're equal distance from this line of reflection. They're both 6 units from it. Let's do the B. B, let's see how far B is from the line of reflection. It's 1, 2, 3 points above it. So B prime is going to be 1, 2, 3 points below it. Here's our image point, B prime. Pre-image point was B, image point's B prime. Okay, C is 1, 2 points above the line, so its image is going to be 2 points on the other side of the line of reflection. We label it C prime. Now let's try to draw our box, okay, and see what we get. From A to C, from C to B, from A to B, okay? There's our image, here's our pre-image. Notice, if I were to fold this right along this line, right along the line of reflection, these would be mapped right on top of each other, okay? So this is a reflection of that, pre-image, image. Then it wants me to give them the coordinates for the image. So let's get the coordinates for the image points. Okay? Oh, I think we were doing that in green, so let's do it in green. Where is A prime? Let's read it off the chart. A prime is at -1, or is at 1, I'm sorry, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's at 1, -6. How about B prime? Let's read it off the chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went 8 out on the x-axis. So it's +8. On the y-axis, I'm going down 1, 2, 3. So -3. +8, -3. Okay? And let's get the coordinates for C prime from our origin. On the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the y-axis, -1, 2. 4, -2, okay? Notice, guys, if we're flipping it over the x-axis, what has changed? Here, the 6 is now negative, so we've changed the sign on the y value. On this, we've changed the sign on the y value. On this one, we've changed the sign on the y value. That's all that's happened. Here's your pre-image, here's your image. Here are the points, the coordinates for your image points. Now let's try another one, okay? Let's plot this rectangle. Here are our vertices. Here's what we're supposed to plot. J is at 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, okay? That's J, point J. We know that's the pre-image because there's no tick marks. K is at 4, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. There's K. No tick marks. We know it's a pre-image point. L is at 7, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. L is at 7, 6. No tick marks because it's a pre-image point. And then M is at 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Okay? M. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's connect the points. K to L, L to M, M to J, J back to K. All right? That's our pre-image. Now let's see where it wants us to reflect it. What does it want us to reflect it over? Guys, that's the important part. What am I reflecting this over? And let's check to see what we're reflecting over. We're reflecting over the y-axis. Be very careful with that, guys, because that's the thing that people get wrong the most, is what axis we're reflecting over. And there's the axis we're reflecting over right there. That's the x. Oops. Hold on. See, I was about to make a mistake. It says y. I went back to look and it's y-axis. So we got to be careful. We're reflecting over the y-axis. Okay? So let's draw our y-axis so we know where it is. She's concerned about colors. Here's our y-axis right here. This is what we're reflecting over. It's very easy to make mistakes, so always keep checking behind yourself. Okay? If I'm reflecting this over the y-axis, I count to see how many places I am away from the line of reflection. I'm 2 places on this right side, so I need to be on 2 places on the left side with my J. So this is at J prime. The prime goes there because this is our image. From M, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So we need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places on this other side. There's your M prime. Let's look at K. I am 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 places on this side. There's your K prime. And then L, let's see, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places. So I need to be 7 places on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am 7 places on the other side. There's L prime. Now you can find your coordinates simply by reading them off. Okay, I'll draw it so you can see it. See if we can make this. Okay. I can read the points off here. Let's see, J prime is at, here's my 0, 0, my origin. J prime is at -2, 1, right? J prime is at -2, 1. Where's K prime? It is at -1, 2, 3, 4, -4, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -4, positive 7. Look. In each case, all I'm doing is changing the sign of the x value. Okay? So I can read this one off, or I can realize it's going to be from here, -7, positive 6. And from here, I can realize this would be -5, 0. Okay? Those are the coordinates for the new points after I plot. Hold on, let me see which other questions we were going to do on here. I believe... Let's see. Okay. Let's look at 4. If you've got trapezoid W, X, Y, Z, and here are your vertices, all you've got to do is plot these and reflect these over the y-axis, right? Here's your y-axis. Go ahead and draw our y-axis in. So we'll see what we're going to be reflecting it over. Let's plot our points. W is at 2, -3. Start at our origin. We go over 2 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. There's your W. X is at 4, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. There's your X. Y is at 8, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -2. There's your y. Z is at 3, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? There's our Z. Okay? Now let's connect our points. Here's WX, XY, YZ, and then let's take WZ. Okay? It asked us to reflect it over this line here, didn't it? Over the y-axis. So let's see what we get when we reflect it over the y-axis. Every point is the same distance from this line of reflection. W is here, so it's 2 points on this side. It'd be 2 points on the other side. There's your W prime. Your X is 1, 2, 3, 4 from this side. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. That would be your X prime. Your Y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points on this side. So it's going to be 8 on the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know some of you may have packets that don't have all the lines in. You may have to draw in some of the lines, okay? That's Y prime. And then Z is 1, 2, 3 from the center, from the line of reflection. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 on the other side. There's your Z prime. Let's connect our points so we can see our figure. Now, let's figure out what the coordinates were for those points, for the new vertices. W prime, let's see, here's our point, there's our origin. W prime would be at -2, -1, 2, 3. -2, -3. Now, if it started at 2, -3, all we're doing is changing the sign on this X. So I'm going to go through all of these and just change them. If that's 4, -1, that'd be -4, -1, wouldn't it? Y would be -8, -2. And Z would be -3, -7. You could find this out simply by reading the points off the graph. Next page. I think you're doing 6. This one is being reflected in the x-axis. Okay. Here is your x-axis right here. So you would be reflecting this one over the x-axis. Let's plot it. S is at -4, 2, -1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. There's your S. T is at -2, 6, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's your T. U is at 1, 7, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's U. And V is at 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. There's the figure. Let's close the points, make the figure. From S to T. Try that again. From S to T, T to L, or U, sorry, U to V, S to V, all right? Now let's find where these points should be. If I'm reflecting in the x-axis, S is 2 points above it, so it's going to be S prime is 2 points below. T is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points above it. It's going to be 6 points below on the same line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. It's T prime. U prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points above, so it's going to be 7 points below on the same line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And W's 1 point above, so it'll be 1 point below V prime. Now let's go ahead and draw the line so we can see where we are. S to T, S prime to T prime to U prime to V prime, S prime to V prime. Okay, there we are. There are two figures. They're reflected over the x-axis. Okay. S prime is at, let's see now, there's where these two, that's your origin. S prime is at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 2, negative 4, negative 2. Now let's look at this. What have I done? I've changed the sign of the y value. I can go across here and do the same thing. T is going to be at negative 2, negative 6. Let's check and see. Negative 2, negative 6. Yep. U prime would be, let's see, 1, negative 7, wouldn't it? Okay, all we're doing is changing the sign of the x. I'm sorry, of the y. Okay, 1, negative 7 on U prime. That would be at 1, negative 7. That makes sense. V prime. That would be at, it's currently at 4, 1. It would be 4, negative 1. Let's check and see if that's the case. V prime, 4, negative 1. Yes, okay? Now that covers 2, 4, 6. I'm going to let you do 8 and 10, 8 and whichever one else you've got. What rule do I have? Look, guys, if I'm on that x-axis, if I'm going across the x-axis, what am I changing? In this case, I started with an S. The S was at negative 4, 2. All I'm changing is the y value. The x value stays the same. So when I go across that x-axis, the x value stays the same. You change the y value to the opposite, right? On y, when you go across the y-axis, your x value changes, your y doesn't, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've covered enough on this one. That covers how to do a reflection and how to find its coordinates. What we do know on a reflection is that once you've reflected it, the side lengths that you're going to get are going to be the same. Corresponding sides will be the same. UV, U prime, V prime would be the same length. TU, T prime, U prime would be the same. All the corresponding sides are the same. So are the corresponding angles. Okay? What if you had, let's see if we had any parallel lines here. Look, we had parallel lines here, parallel lines here. If I started with parallel lines, after the reflection, I have parallel lines. Okay? So we've got a reflection, we have congruent figures.